Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Gulfstream Park West. It is Ron Nicoletti here. It is Breeders' Cup Saturday, but we got lots going on here at Gulfstream Park West. We're starting today with a fast main track. We got a firm turf course this afternoon, and we have a couple of carryovers that we want to tell you about, and one of them is just spectacular. So let's look at our wagering menu this afternoon, and we have Super High Five, which starts in race number one with a little over $1,800 in that pool. But race number five today with this 10-race sequence, we have $461,000. You take this down, you got a lot of money to bet the Breeders' Cup the rest of the afternoon. So race number five is where that Rainbow Six kicks in. And don't forget a couple of stakes races this afternoon. The Cellar Shiraz and the Showing Up for fillies. One for fillies, one for Colts 3-year-olds. So it makes this a pretty nice day. And both of those races are in the Rainbow Six. With that said, let's take a look at my early pick five ticket. And I did go three deep in here with the 5, 6, and 9. The 9 is the 6 is who I prefer the most: Sandrift, Use Secret of Life, and Valley Date. Then I went too deep in race number 2 with Princess Latina. Nonsense is my second choice in here. 3 deep in race number 3 with the 7, the 3 Lovely, and the 1 Charlotte the Brit. And then race number 6, the number 9 Cabre horse we'll talk about. Race number, I skipped the race there. Race number 3, we got to go to race number 4. I used 2 horses in there, 3 and 8. And I finished it with 2 horses in race number 5. And that is the 1 and the number 6 horse in there. So we'll see how that plays out. $36 for me. And there you go, $36 in there and everything. So let's take a look at the first race today. I get all my pages mixed up this afternoon. I guess because it's Saturday and I'm excited for the Breeders' Cup. Well, the number 6, Sandrift, and the number 9, Secret of Life. We want to go back and show you their last performance. They raced together in that. We're going to start it right off with that. And there you're going to see the number 8, Sandris, and the number 9, Secret of Life. And you see the horse that's on the lead there, Total Treasure, 50 to 1. And why do you want to go back and show you this? And it looks like Sandrift and Secret of Life are both going to win this race and reel in that 50 to 1 shot coming down. Here's the 8, who's Sandrift, and the 6, Secret of Life. They got their dead aim on the number 10, Total Treasure, but not to be. Boom. The board lights up, opened the day with a big winner of 50 to 1. I think it paid $103 or something like that. But we'll see if these 2 horses, they ran okay, but they couldn't get by that loose on the lead horse, which was very dangerous that particular day on the turf. I think it's a little better for both those horses today. We'll start it with Sandrift, who's going to turn back the 7.5 furlongs. He returned from the layoff. You saw him. He came with a notch of notching this condition. He finished 3rd. That was a mile in the 16th. Safi Joseph Jr., Edgar Zayas back in town, will be at the controls. Secret of Life is another turning back to this distance of 7.5. He stalked the pace. He finished 2nd. That was a neck in front of Sandrift when going a mile and 16th. The other race we just showed you this. So I went back with these 2 horses. Rowan Creighton's got Nick Juarez on Secret of Life today. The other horse I used was the 5, Valley Date, who's dropping to this $10,000 3 lifetime level after facing allowance level competition in both local turf races for trainer Mike Maker. Daughter of Drosselmeyer, has been beaten better in the past, and albeit on the dirt, but we're going to see if this horse dropping down on the main track will be okay. Race number 2, we're going to flip the page here. As I said, pages are a little tough today. It's a 6-furlong sprint, claimers, fillies, 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and up who have never won 2 races in life. And I did go with the number 2 horse in here, Princess Latina, who moved to the Dave Brady barn after the claim, drew clear from post to post her 2nd consecutive victory, defeated this level of competition, and did it rather impressively by like 6+ lengths to keep the status quo. The new connections, I'm talking about Dave Brady, Edgar Zayas going for 3 in a row on this horse, not with him in the saddle, but of course the horse going for 3 in a row. The number 4, Nonsense, drops to this level we're talking about, $16,000 level, and stretches out to this 3/4 of a mile or 6 furlong distance, set the pace, finished 2nd. It was against those 35 condition claimers that was going 5.5 furlongs. Armando de la Cerda's got MC El Jaramillo handling the drop down today, and that's certainly the allure. And then I went with the 5, shall return, who moved to the Happy Altar Barn after the claim and drops off the claim to this level. First race since finishing that rallying third. That was against 25 claimers at Gulfstream, but it was back in July, so Happy's giving this horse some rest, taking off some time, and I think shall return will run okay in that spot. For me, it's 2, 4, and 5. Race 3 this afternoon. Back on the turf, 7 1/2 furlongs, an allowance. These are state-bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. Pretty nice race in here. And I went with the 7 horse, and that's Here Comes Jackie. He's debuting locally for owner-trainer Mike Deeney and turning back to this 7 1/2 furlong distance. You'll look at this horse's last race, went up, set the pace that day, weekend late to finish fourth against open allowance competition. That was going that mile and a 16th up at Belmont Park. It's a daughter of Handsome Mike. Looks solid against this state-bred competition. Was running against open up there. Comes back going to run with Florida Breds this afternoon. The 3, Lovely Lovey, is another turning back in distance after making a sort of like a 5-wide bid, you would say, in the race to finish second against state-bred runners going 1 mile and 1/16. That was across town at Gulfstream Park. Sammy Camacho is named to ride today. I want to let you know Leonel Reyes off his mounts this afternoon, so make sure you get all those jockey changes when Jason comes on a little bit, and he'll give you all the scratches and changes you need. Lots of jockey changes today. The 1 horse, Charlotte the Brit, will depart from the rail after dueling for the lead, getting checked a little bit along the rail and failing to finish 8th. But that was in the $75,000 Miss Gracie last time out. I think she's a major speed play. If she gets a clean trip, inside trip, I think she could be very dangerous on the lead. And that's the one, Charlotte the Brit, in race number 3. So one of those horses, you see how the turf and the dirt are playing today. You make your decisions when you're going to put your Rainbow Six ticket together in race number 5. 4th race this afternoon, 6 1/2 furlongs. These are maiden claimer fillies and mares, 3 and up, $10,000. What a race this is. I think it's all about Cat Quick in here to number 8. Going to wear blinkers this afternoon after returning from a 3-month layoff to finish third here, going 3/4 mile. The trainer is Bob Hess Jr. He's solid with first-time blinkers, 19%. This is a pretty, if that horse don't win, a friend of mine just told me anybody can win this race. So, and I sort of agree. I did use the 3, Taylor VK in second, wheeling back after losing all chance in that race when the jock saddle slipped and she was pulled up to wait for another day. Javier Negrete is going to use Santiago Gonzalez in the saddle today. And then I used the 5, Homily, who's expected, you would think, to show more after returning from about a 2-month layoff to finish a late running 5th, going 5 1/2 furlongs. So race number 4, part of the early pick 5. I went 8, 3, and 5. We're taking a short break. When we come back, I'll show you my Rainbow Six ticket.
We hope you're ready to walk, trot, or canter on the historic Gulfstream Park racetrack. Getting ready for Canter for the Cause, where you will have the chance to ride on the same track as the Florida Derby and Pegasus World Cup winners. It's on Saturday, November 9th, and it's for a great cause, benefiting the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance and Whispering Main's Therapeutic Riding Center. Visit GulfstreamPark.com for more information, and we can't wait to see you there.
Whether you're at home or at the track, have a stake in the race when you bet with ExpressBet. Sign up for an ExpressBet online betting account and receive up to a $500 sign-up bonus.
Oh, welcome back to Gulfstream Park West today, and it is Saturday with a fast main track and a firm turf course. And you saw that commercial just a little while. Good cause, Canter for the Cause. If you got a horse, to come out and cruise around the Gulfstream Park main track across town, and it's going to be a great day, and it's for a good cause. So with that said, let's look at my Rainbow Six ticket, and you see I'm starting it off here. right away. I'm going to pull the Band-Aid off. As Acacia always says, and Jason, I think they copy each other. I'm going to go with the number 6, Jolting Joe, who's a half-brother to a Grade 1 stakes place, actually juvenile turf runner, juvenile runner, some like it, Hot Brown. So I thought Jolting Joe was the one to beat, and I have all this coverage going down. In our stake race today, the 7th race, I went with Red Rounder. That is race 7, first stake race. Racky, who upset at 29-1, and Beautiful Ballad. 8th race, half-brother to California Chrome is in this race, the number 8, Fort McHenry. So we'll see how that horse runs for Todd Pletcher. The other stake today to showing up, I went with Scraps. The Black Album, a French bred from Rudolph Brisset. I think that horse might be the class of the field. And, of course, the unknown in there is well-defined for Kathleen O'Connell, trying to turf after a fantastic career on the main track. And long shot comes in race number 10 with the 2, Silver Connection, dropping down for Gustavo Omaya, 10-1 on the board. So that is my Rainbow Six ticket, $48.60. And the carryover, $461,000, about $462,000, and that's just going to skyrocket as the soon as the wagering starts. It'll be well over. It's going to be about 700,000. My guess today, 650, 700. With that said, race number 5 is a 1-mile turf event, a maiden special weight 2-year-olds. And as I mentioned with Jolting Joe, a half-brother to that Grade 1 Breeders' Cup juvenile 3rd place finisher, some like it, Hot Brown. Debuts locally after finishing, I thought, a game second in the $75,000 Armed Forces. That was going a mile on the Gulfstream Park turf, while still a maiden. Now they're back with the maidens there. That was against winners in that race. And Mike Maker has Raylu Gutierrez named to ride. So going back with maidens, I think is a pretty good move for the number 5, Jolting Joe. Well, also the number 1 is doing the same thing. Causalistic is going back with maidens after failing to fire. Now, that horse was 7th behind Jolting Joe in the Armed Forces. Antonio Sano is just starting to win races again, a couple of races every day, at least one, and he's got Edgar Zayas in the saddle. Then we're going to go with the number 5. Senses in here is counting on getting a solid pace scenario after finishing 3rd here when facing maiden special weight competition, going 7.5 furlongs. So that extra little bit of distance going a mile. Kathleen O'Connell has the apprentice Kristen Torres at the controls. The faster they go up front, I think it's the better for the 5 cents. It's not a stone closer, but I think that one could carve out a nice stalking trip. We're going to go to race number 6 now, which is a 5.5 furlong claiming event for 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $6,250. And as I mentioned in here, this starts off the late pick 5. There's a horse in here, Cabre, who's plummeting to the $6,250 level. First start since posting a lofty 85 buyer figure when finishing 2nd, was only beaten a neck against 35 optional claimers during June. Gustavo Delgado is the trainer. He's got Raylu Gutierrez, atop this. I see it as a shaky proposition. Why the drop down after that really nice performance in June is the for sale sign up. You have to take that in consideration when you put your tickets together. Number 7, Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda, is now in owner-trainer Juan Arriagada's barn. This gelding going to turn back this distance 5.5 furlongs after dueling for the lead and finishing 2nd against similar competition. That was going 6 furlongs or 3/4 of a mile. And then I closed it out with the number 8, Sera Una Volta, who's another turning back to 5.5 furlongs after back-to-back 2nd-place finishes, going 6 furlongs across town at Gulfstream Park. The trainer is Juan Avila, and he's got Edgar Zayas handling, we'll call it, a mini turn back to 5.5 furlongs. I always use that in my writing. Everybody makes fun of me, but I'm going to use it anyway. Now, our first of 2 stakes races today comes in race number 7. It's 1 mile on the turf for fillies 3-year-olds, $75,000 guaranteed. And this is the sellers Shiraz. And I wanted to go back. I picked Red Rounder on top in there, but I wanted to go back and show you the performance of the 4 Racky. This horse ran an incredible race, was the 3 this afternoon, and he wins the Miss Gracie at 29-1. But just watch how this horse did. He just kept coming. He's now 6 or 7 wide coming through the stretch. It was just an incredible performance and just keeps rolling down the stretch. And as I mentioned, 29-1. And when the smoke cleared, and there is Racky winning the Miss Gracie, and turned out to be a key race where there he goes. Turned out to be a key race that produced a couple of next out winners. So that race is a good race to key off. And boy, Racky got a perfect trip in there. Didn't need to get in any kind of trouble. Just took the overland route. With all of that said, I went with the 8 Red Rounder, a multiple stakes place performer in Florida. Returns to the Sunshine State today after making a middle boot and fading. He was 6th, but that was going 1 mile and 5/16 in the $348,000 Dueling Ground Oaks at Kentucky Downs. I don't know where they are on this track. The camera angle always gets me confused. I'm talking about at Kentucky Downs, but it's Mike Maker, Ray Lou Gutierrez atop the Daughter of English Channel. I remember this horse running in Florida, and that's what I'm keen off. 1 mile and 5/16. Didn't get a very high buyer figure, maybe a 70 or something like that. I just thought it was not a mile and 5/16 is sort of a specialized horse. The 4 Racky we just showed you, boy, that was some nice performance. Can this horse do it 2 in a row? You're certainly not going to get that double-digit odds this afternoon. And then on the inside, Beautiful Ballad is going to depart from the rail. This is the one who faced straight 3-year-olds after leading every step of the way last time to defeat older horses. That was that $40,000 optional claimer here at the distance. The trainer's Mark Cassie, and he's got the apprentice Kristen Torres, who's going to ride without the apprentice allowance, of course, in the stake, in the saddle again. So that was a pretty nice performance, and that's a horse I think is a must-use somewhere on your ticket. The 8th race is a 1 mile maiden special weight for 2-year-olds. And as I mentioned, the number 4, Fort McHenry, a half-brother to California Chrome, cost $1.1 million. He's the son of Tappan. He wheels back after tracking the action. He finished 2nd in his local debut at this level and distance. It is Todd Pletcher, Edgar Zayas at the controls. This horse is beautifully bred. We'll see how he runs his 2nd start here. Well, and Fort McHenry got all the breeding you could possibly want to be a champion. I also like the number 10 horse to the outside with Blazing Desire, who's stretching out today around 2 turns on the main track and racing without the blinkers this afternoon after showing some late interest when sprinting on the grass, both here and at Kentucky Downs. It's Patrick Biancone. He's got Diamond Oops today in the Breeders' Cup, so make sure you pay attention. Patrick's pretty good with the turf to dirt angle. He's about 19-20%. And then the 2-horse Frank First, who was 2nd going 6 furlongs here last out, stretches out to this mile distance with the breeding certainly needed to handle this distance of 1 mile and beyond. Ron Spatz has Jeffrey Sanchez atop his stable star. That's a half-brother to the stakes place. Art G is back. So a nice breeding there, certainly bred to handle the 1 mile distance. Our 2nd turf race of the afternoon comes in race number 9, and it is the 1 mile on the turf for 3-year-olds, the $75,000 guaranteed. This is the Showing Up, and it is a nice race. We're going to go back and show you the horse I have on top, Scraps. Scraps, we're going to show him, steadying when you're going into the far turn. He is the number 6 this afternoon, and he just seems that he's, he gets into a spot where he really can. You're going to see him. He'll just have to take back, and with that move, he's going to have to take the overland route in this race. So you'll see him on the outside. There he is. He was forced when he had to check. He had to get away from all those horses in front of him, and he just came rolling down the stretch, and he draws off and wins it, and I'll just let you watch. He draws off and wins it by multiple lengths. So he had to get he was good enough to get out from behind those horses and draw off and win it. So it's Stanley Gold has just been doing great work the last couple of days with his horses. Jairo Rendon going for 3 in a row. This one, was really impressive winning the Bears Den. Now, the horse I alluded to a little earlier when I was talking about my Rainbow Six ticket was the 1 horse in here, the Black Album, the French bred, who was grade 3 stakes place when he returned from a layoff in April. So we know he runs fresh, and we know he's got class. He was fresh, and after failing to hit the board when sprinting, that was in the grade 3 event at Kentucky Downs last out. And then he was up in the $100,000 Pat Mahoney at Saratoga during August. Rudolph Brissett, I really respect the work he does. He's got Christian Torres handling the stretch out to 1 mile. once again riding without the apprentice allowance. This horse, I keep going back. He think he's the class of the race. And as I mentioned with Kathleen's horse, unless she scratches later on, and I don't think she is, Well Defined is giving the turf a try after a stellar campaign on the main track, which includes victories in the $400,000 in reality when there was a 2-year-old, and the grade 3 Sam Davis when he was a sophomore. So this horse has got really a lot of class. Kathleen Edgard Zai is handling that surface switch. Going to be interesting to see how this horse runs on the turf this afternoon. We're going to close it out. Race 10, 6 furlong maiden claim, a state bred 2-year-olds, $35,000. My long shot, as I mentioned, is the 2 Silver Connection, 10-1 on the board. Drop it to the $35,000 level. Went last time out, chased the pace last time, finished 4th when facing $50,000 state bred runners here, going 5.5 furlongs. The trainer is Gustavo Amaya, got Jose Batista atop this son of Rattlesnake Bridge. I think this is a better spot for this horse. Number 8, Pozan, proved he could compete at this level locally when he shipped in from across town, and he finished 2nd at this same level in distance. Juan Arriagada has Luca Panici in the saddle today. And then my man, Billy Bones. He's the son of He's Had Enough, debuting for Rowan Crichton with Lasix, and the apprentice Kristen Torres riding. And the tote action will certainly tell us more. All this week leading up to Breeders' Cup Saturday, we've been showing you Breeders' Cup races from Gulfstream Park throughout the years. And what better way to end it with the 1992 Classic with AP Indy winning for trainer Neil Drysdale with Eddie Delahousse in the saddle. Enjoy. We'll be back for the first race in just a little while.
And the half went in 45-4. A sizzling pace here as they move into the backstretch. Thunder Rumble is pressed hard under intense pressure from Jolie's Halo. Technology is trying to keep pace in 3rd. Defensive play is right there now, racing in 4th position. Sultry Song is 5th. Zoman is only 5 lengths from the lead. Joliefa's moving strongly as they move into the far turn. AP Indy's dropped back in the pack. Pleasant Tap is in between horses. Now he's still about 7 lengths from the lead. And then it's Marquetry as they're on the far turn. And Thunder Rumble rolls to a 2-length lead now. Defensive play has moved in toward the inside. Jolie's Halo's in it all out drive. He's working hard to keep up. AP Indy is finding his best stride, and he's moving powerfully in between horses as they move toward the top of the stretch in this 9th Breeders' Cup Classic. Defensive play. Thunder Rumble still there. AP Indy's in an all-out drive, and Pleasant Tap is coming with giant strides on the inside. They're coming to the finish. It is AP Indy in front. Pleasant Tap, one last run at him. AP Indy wins the Breeders' Cup Classic by 3 conclusive lengths.
They finished 1-2 as expected, but this time it was AP Indy over Pleasant Tap. The 3-year-old on his way to Horse of the Year.